Here is a Crest 5500 series ceiling fan. This is a 52-inch model in the polished brass with medium oak cane blades. Very nice fan. This was given to me this year at the fan meet. I forget the name of the person that gave it to me. I'll remember your face next year if I see you, but the name is just right out the window. So if you want to identify yourself in the comments box, feel free to do so. This was new in the box. Speaking of boxes, oh gosh, it sounds like a stinking farm in here. And it's in pretty much pristine condition. The finish is still very good. Sometimes it gets screwed up in storage, but this one has fared pretty well. The Crest logo is still there. The logo, or the high stop. See, it's still got a lot of shine to it. You can probably see the camera. Yeah, it looks like you can. Cane blades, very wide blades. In fact, they're a touch disproportionate to the irons. And here's the pull fob, which is pretty unique and pretty out of focus. This is the first, I guess not the first time, but one of the few times I've filmed a kind of formal ceiling fan video in here, and it seems like the lighting is pretty good. I am using 3 different cameras, so we'll have a bunch of different angles that we can look at as the video progresses. This thing did not exactly instill a lot of confidence in itself throughout the assembly process. The switch housing in particular was just totally asinine in terms of design. It is the worst design I have ever seen in a switch housing. It has a, I don't know if we'll be able to see it on this video. It has a little latch in there. Can't really see it with the blades on because I can't get the camera close enough. But it has a little latch that's supposed to go over the shaft that comes out the bottom of the motor. And the latch is made out of a very cheap and garbage pot metal material. And the latch simply snapped as I was trying to tighten it down. So that was ridiculously cheap. The design was stupid. And it's just an excellent example of solving a problem that doesn't exist. And we've had ceiling fan and switch housings designed a certain way for the last 50 years. Why would you change it? That seemed kind of cheap, and the motor housing has no screen on it, so you can see right through to the motor, which it's exaggerated in this case because the housing is not flush with the ceiling because of the way the box is. Under normal circumstances, it probably wouldn't be as obvious because there wouldn't be any light going in the top of the motor, but on this one it's pretty obvious. So it just seemed like kind of a cheaper fan as I was putting it together. The instruction manual claimed that the thing draws, or I guess it draws in, but it moves rather, 8,000 CFM, which of course was hilarious because the Lasco 3733, of course, as we all know, supposedly moves 8,000 CFM as well. And I have long questioned the credibility of these CFM ratings. A lot of them just don't seem to be very accurate. The ratings definitely have varied in accuracy over the last several decades. We see in the 90s they seem to be pretty inflated, and then they started to come down in the 2000s, and they've come down even more in the 2010s. Although I think the 2010s change is some kind of weird Energy Star baloney that plays with the ratings in terms of like averaging it across multiple speeds or something weird. It's not straightforward anymore like everything else. And speaking of the 90s, I believe this was dated 1990 or somewhere right in there, give or take 1 or 2 years. So the switch housing, we'll use it, but it's very flaky. I'll go ahead and start it up on the low now. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. There's a slight motor hum, but nothing major. So the manual claims that it moves 8,000 CFM on high, which I think is completely outrageous. A flush mount fan is just really not going to achieve that. That's like Hunter original territory. That's an astronomical amount of air to be moved. And these flush mount fans, because they're so close to the ceiling, they typically don't move that much air anyways, especially in comparison to like a basic downrod fan of the same number of blades and pitch. And of course 8,000 CFM is like this, oh, just a perfectly round 8,000 CFM on the nose. Yeah, okay. And some of the ratings, they at least are like a precise number. You know, for example, 5,274 CFM. Like you can tell it was obviously derived from a formula that had some measurements put into it and it was calculated. Whether the formula is accurate or not, that's a different story, but at least there was an attempt made at some type of accuracy. This is just like, yeah, okay. So I just figured that was total baloney, and I think Crest is going to be notorious for that because the 8600 in the kitchen was the same way. The manual had some very high number in it. I think it also was a nice round number, and the performance, I would actually say, is kind of below average. Now this one, curiously enough, is above average. It's not 8,000 CFM. I would say it feels like a healthy 5. It's definitely quite a bit above average for a unit of this style. That's about full speed. A little bit of motor hum, but nothing crazy. And you can already feel some air coming down from it. Actually, quite a bit. It does not disappoint in terms of performance at all. Alright, now we'll move up to the medium. Oh, rats. I should have gone and got the kilowatt meter. Look at it on low for a couple seconds. I got the kilowatts meter. Let's go ahead and plug this in so we can see what the power information is. Hopefully I have enough plugs here. Is this gonna fit? Oh man. Is the computer on? Oh, good, it's not. I can just unplug this one. Plug half the stinking bar. Literally, I had to unplug half the bar. Okay. At 120.2, nope, there it is, 120.2 the volts. This is taking 0.25 the amps, 28 the watts, and has a power factor of 0.95, now 0.94. That's pretty reasonable. Alright, now let's go up to the medium. I can probably fix the switch housing by putting a hose clamp around it, like a maybe 1-inch hose clamp, and tightening that down. Because the bracket just split in half, it's still there. So I just need something to go around the entire bracket to lock it all in place. A little bit of motor hum still, gets a little bit quieter on high, but not bad. Very little air noise, but quite a bit of airflow. And this is almost comparable to the high in a lot of flush mount fans. And flush mount fans really are typically quite low performance. But this is surprising. It's a very smooth and steady airflow as well. And the pitch on the blades is reasonable, but it's not anything crazy. The only thing that's really high spec on this is the width of the blades. Very wide blades. I've been thinking about starting the project of putting the ceiling boxes in this room properly, but I really kind of like having the swag. I might just leave it. I don't know. Alright, now we're going to go up to the high speed, which of course is the fastest speed. Oh, before we do that, we'll collect the power information again. We lost 0.2 of the volts since last time we checked. Now it's 0.4 the amps and 48 the watts with a power factor of 0.99. Now a power factor of 1 on the nose. So the capacitor is still good, even after sitting all those years in the box. Alright, here's the fastest speed, which is the high. Something's vibrating a little bit in there. Not sure what that is. As far as the RPM goes, I think it listed it somewhere around 200, and that seems about right. It's not exceptionally fast. It's a pretty average high speed, but it sure is throwing out the air. This is definitely, probably high 4 to low 4 to high 5,000 CFM range. It's really quite respectable for a flush mount. It's kind of like average for a standard mount, but above average for a flush mount. And I of course assembled it with as much care as I possibly could, being so gentle with the stinking blade irons, and yet they're still slightly out of clock. Fortunately, the fan itself does not seem to be shaking very much. I mean, some discrepancy is normal, but you have a brand new fan right out of the box and you've always handled it correctly, for it to still be like that is a little bit annoying. I can feel a ton of air recirculating around the room. I can feel the air kicking up the wall here. And this is a big room too. This room could definitely tolerate, it could definitely handle 2 fans. You know, with all the space in between the fan and the wall, and the fans in the center. I think 2 fans, especially 2 flush mount fans, would look completely in place here. I always like to get shots of the fans from kind of odd angles or outside the room. Let's see, from this angle we can kind of make it look like the light is part of the fan. There is some motor hum still on high, but it's very faint. There's some air noise, but it's totally reasonable. It looks like the holes in the motor are not even fully in clock, but of course this camera doesn't want to show it for some reason. Come on, just show it. Show it! That's your only purpose in life. Show the viewers that the blades are not in clock on the motor. Good. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Ah, there we go. You can see that the positioning of the blades relative to the center of the motor is not all lined up, and it really should be. Shouldn't be difficult to manufacture that accurately. Alright, let's take a look at the power information on full power. 0.6 the amps, 72 the watts, the power factor of 1. That's actually very respectable. That's not much power at all. Very, very reasonable draw. Okay, we'll go ahead and cut it off now. I'm not going to show the reverse because it's the same thing. Well, I guess it's not exactly the same thing, but it's pretty much the same thing. The brass fans look so nice with those hanging lights. Had a white fan in here before, the Chatham, and just putting this in here instead, being this one is brass and the wood blades, it's such a total change of the feel of the room. It makes the room feel so inviting. and cozy to have the brown and brass color scheme. Sometimes bearings get kind of dodgy when they're sitting in the box for so long, but these appear to be perfectly good. No noise, no scratching or any anomalous sounds while it operates, and as you can see here, there's still plenty free. So I don't know about Crest in terms of quality. I really only like Crest because of the 8600 that was in my aunt and uncle's house. I don't really have much experience with Crest otherwise, and you know, I recall back in the day that fan was not particularly powerful either. Now granted, that one was flush mounted, so that can certainly hinder the performance to an extent, but I do pretty distinctly remember that not being a very powerful fan at all. The other fans in the house were more powerful than that one. Now this one's pretty powerful, but certain aspects of it don't seem like it's built properly. The motor seems to be pretty reasonable. You know, the power consumption and the power factor, the specs are all good on the motor. Can't argue with the performance. And obviously the finish must have been at least halfway decent quality because it survived all these years. But I guess the only thing I'm really bothered by is the switch housing design. Very stupid. But anyways, there it is, the Crest 5500. Overall a very nice fan. Excellent performance, and it looks great.